What is up, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls? It's your boy Goblin, and today I'm coming in with a story time talking about getting high on Mucinex, the cough medicine, for those of you guys who don't know, but I assume basically everybody knows what Mucinex is. So, hope you guys enjoy. Drop a like if you do, and without further ado, with one more thing further ado, this gameplay here, I've done this in the past couple of videos in a row. It's a game called Fistful of Frags, and let me know if you guys enjoy the gameplay or not, for those of you who actually pay attention to it. I personally have a fucking blast playing this game, and I also think it's fun to watch because there's just so much shit going on at any given time. I don't know. Yeah, let me know if you guys want to see more of this game or not, but anyways, let's dive into it. So, getting high on Mucinex. This happened a long time ago. I want to say maybe a little under a year ago. It was like March of 2016, so just under a year ago. And I was sitting in my house, the school day had just ended, and a couple days prior, I had gone up to Walgreens and gotten some Mucinex. I got the like cold throat and flu or whatever it was called. And this stuff, I don't recommend this. Before I get any further into this, don't do this. If you want to get high, just smoke. Just smoke weed. Don't, do all this cough medicine shit. It's not even fun. I mean, I'm not going to lie, it's kind of fun. I did it more than once, but like not fun enough to justify. But anyways, so, I got this bottle of Mucinex on me, and I had a bunch of bottles of Sprite in the fridge, and I think you guys know where I'm going with this. I'm going to get a bunch of hate comments saying, Goblin, you're a faggot, pouring up cough syrup, you fucking queer. Listen, all right? I'm not drinking that shit straight, and if I have a soda to mix it with, then so be it. So, go over to my fridge, got this whole bottle, not even opened yet, grab a bottle of Sprite out, and I'd gotten pizza a couple days prior, and you know how like every pizza place gives you soda with it? Like, not gives you, but, they'll throw in like a 2-liter for like pretty cheap. That's what I had. I had a 2-liter, and I had this whole fucking bottle of Mucinex. I didn't even think to pour some into a cup or anything. I was just like, I'll just down the whole 2-liter. So I just dumped the whole bottle of Mucinex in this thing, and poured it all in the 2-liter, shook it up, got it nice and, mixed up so it didn't taste like dookie and there wasn't like any, just Mucinex floating around the bottom and soda all at the top. And I was sitting there and a couple of my buddies hit me up, and I hadn't started drinking it yet. And one of my buddies who we're going to call, we're going to call him Ernie. Ernie hits me up, and he's like, yo, what you on, Nick? And I'm like, not shit. You want a match? And he's like, yeah, I'm with a couple people. I'm like, oh, that's cool. He's with a couple girls. And he's like, yeah, I'll slide through. I was like, all right, just let me know when you're here, ring the doorbell, I'll let you in. So I started drinking it while I'm waiting for them to get there. All my homies, they always take ages to get places. I don't know if this is just a drug people thing or what, but like, they'll be like, yeah, I'll be at your crib in 10. And then like 25 minutes later, you're sitting there like, all right, my dude, the jig is up. Where the fuck are you at? So he comes over. He's with a girl named Michelle and another one who we're going to call, we're going to call one Michelle, and we're going to call the other let's say Megan. So we've got Michelle and Megan, and they're both girls who I've been friends with for a little while. And then there's Ernie. Ernie's my good homie. So they're all there. Excuse me. I'm a good way into the 2-liter at this point. While I was waiting for them to come over, I was just smacking on it. And I don't know how I drank this much soda, but maybe, I don't know, I must have just had the fucking iron stomach, the will to get that DXM in me. And I ended up, by the time they got there, I'd already drank like half of it because I was just sitting there chugging. And they get there, they come sit at the table, they see the 2-liter, and Ernie goes, bro, what the fuck is that? And I'm like, it's some Mucinex, my dude. I just put it in a Sprite. And he's like, why the fuck are you drinking that shit? And I was like, I don't know. I mean, I want to get fucked up. And he was like, you're fucking retarded, Nick. I swear to God. And at the time, I laughed, but like I felt a little offended. Now he's right. He's right. I'm fucking retarded. It's just when I was high and doing drugs, I couldn't see it. But I'm a fucking idiot. So anyways, we sit at the table. We all roll up some blunts. We've got maybe 3-4 blunts rolled up. Good size, about a gram each. So decent little thing to smoke. We all go out on my back deck. And this was always the routine. We would always just roll up at my dining room table. It was right next to the sliding glass door to get to my deck. And then me and all my homies would always go stand on my deck and smoke. So we rolled up these blunts. We went out to the back deck. I was about halfway through the 2-liter, and I wasn't feeling anything yet because I just drank it, but eventually stuff started to kick in. It wasn't super intense because I didn't finish the 2-liter, but I'll get to that later. So we're out on the deck. We spark up 2 of the blunts, and we're saving the other 2 for smoking a little later when we're coming down. So Put them in roto. We're smacking them. Blunts are hitting beautifully. It's a super nice day out, actually. It was really nice for the time of year it was. It was still pretty cold, I believe, at this point in March. It was like early March, I want to say. And this one day, it was actually like sunny out and decently warm. It was kind of like how it is lately for any of you guys who live in Chicago. It's been super fucking nice. Anyone who lives in the U.S., the whole fucking U.S. has just been nice as shit lately weather-wise. But yeah, it was just a nice day out. We're smoking blunts, enjoying our time, kicking it. We're sitting we have these two little chairs and then a table out there. I was sitting in one chair, Ernie in the other. We had our feet up. We was just, oh man, it was a good little smoke session. So we got done doing that. We went back inside. And after we smoked, me and my buddies, we always like to just chill at my dining room table and just talk. We'd talk, we'd roll up some more, we'd dab, we'd vape, we'd, do whatever just to kick it and enjoy our time, So we're relaxing. We're doing our thing. We're there for maybe, I don't know, an hour and a half. And it sounds boring as fuck. But, when you're high and you're just kicking it with some homies joking, it's a fun time. It's a fun time. So, we're sitting there. Everything's just funny. And maybe an hour and a half later, we want to smoke the other blunts. So we go down to the garage and we open up the garage. At this point, it was kind of darker because the sun was still going down fairly early. So we decided not to smoke on the deck. And on top of that, I don't know, can't smoke on the deck every time. You got to switch it up, We wanted to smoke in the garage. So went to my garage, opened up the garage door so we wouldn't just hotbox in and it reeked. And we smoked a couple squares first, and it was a hoot and a holler. Squares always go nicely when you're intoxicated on basically anything. And at this point, I was feeling the DXM. I was feeling the Mucinex, not too intensely because, I still had half a 2 liter. I only drank a liter out of it. And I was feeling good. I was feeling lightheaded. I was feeling, kind of woozy, I guess. That little like foggy feeling you get on DXM. I touch on this in basically every DXM video I make, but for me, at least, I always get this just really foggy-headed feeling, this just like, I can't fucking think right now kind of feeling going, It's one of those, like, just go stupid kind of highs, And I'm feeling, like, a little disoriented, but still, like, there, like, still in control, not, like, fucked up too bad, just very, very woozy, I guess, is a good way to put it. So we're smoking these blunts, or we're smoking these squares, excuse me. We sparked up the blunts afterwards, finish our squares. And whenever I have buddies come over, I always lock my garage door behind me, especially when I leave it open, because I leave the garage open so they can come in through the garage so they don't always have to ring the bell. Even though they rang the front doorbell this time, I still left the garage open just in case more people were going to come over. And while we were out there, we were about halfway through these blunts. We just sparked them. I brought the 2 liter out with me, and I was drinking more of it. I slammed about, I want to say, almost another quarter of it. There's about a little over a quarter of it left when I stopped drinking it. So maybe 2/3, give or take, I had drank. And I realized we were locked out. I went to go inside and grab my phone. Or not my phone. I went to go inside and grab Megan's phone. Because both Megan and Michelle both left their phones and purses inside. And I just realized I locked myself out of my own house. The front door was locked. The garage door was locked. And I had no keys on me. So I'm just sitting here like, what the fuck? And all of them are like, are you shitting me, Nick? Like, God damn it. What are you doing? And Ernie's like, all right, bro, well, what the fuck? Ernie didn't leave anything in there. So he was like, why are you so retarded? And I was like, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. But the 2 girls left stuff in there. So I knew I had to get back in somehow. So what ended up happening was we finished the blunts because I was tweaking out and, I was already high. So locking myself out of the house did not help me tweaking out. And Ernie was like, bro, just smack these blunts and relax a little bit. You'll be okay. Like, what's the worst that's going to happen? You got to fucking wait for your mom to get home to go inside. And I was like, yeah, that's true, but there was still like weed on the fucking table and shit just laying out, and I'm never that obvious with my drug use, like especially with my mom. I would always clean up and always at least give my best effort to, make it seem like I was not doing drugs, even though it didn't work. She fucking knew the whole time. But anyways, so I'm like, shit. So Ernie's like, all right, bro, well, I don't know what to do. And he looks down, he notices me still smacking on the 2 liter. And he's like, bro, why the fuck are you drinking all that shit? He was like, you're going to fucking die, dude. Give me that shit. And, I didn't want to give it to him at first. I was like, nah, bro, let me drink this. And he was like, bro, no, give me that shit. Dude, that shit's dumb, dude. Just smoke. Don't fucking down DXM like that. So I gave it to him. I was like, all right, whatever. Because at that point, I didn't even really want to drink it. And on top of that, if I wasn't going to get back in my house, I'm not having my mom pull up to the garage and see me sitting here with a fucking 2-liter full of DXM or an empty one, looking all shit-faced, acting all woozy, because I know if I finished that whole thing, I probably would have been too fucked up to control. But I gave it over to Ernie. Ernie was like, all right, I'm going to go throw this shit away somewhere. He had to leave. So what ended up happening was him, Megan, and Michelle all left. And Michelle actually had a car. Megan didn't. So what happened was, or I think Megan had a car, but her parents are super strict with it. So what happened was Ernie took both of them. He dropped them both off. And he went home himself. And he texted me and he's like, yo, bro, just let me know if you get back in or how shit goes, good luck. And I was like, all right, good looks, bro. So I had my phone with me, but no charger. And still to this day, I never charge my phone. I charge it when it's at 5%. I don't charge it up to 100 when it's at 50 or 30. I'm like, whatever. I got more juice. So, I'm sitting in my garage. I'm at fucking 12%, and I have 3 more hours until my mom's supposed to get home. So I text one of our family friends, and I'm like, hey, do you know by chance, do you have a spare key to let me back in the house? I locked myself out. What I didn't realize was that this woman and my mom were no longer friends. They were in a huge fight at the time. So she just goes no, and then tells my mom that I hit her up. My mom texts me and is like, Nick, you locked yourself out. What's happening? Are you high? What the fuck? And she's pretty pissed. And I'm like, no, I was about to take the dog out and, I had to throw some stuff in the recycling bin before I went back in and took the dog out. And I usually lock the door and I just forgot. It made no fucking sense. My excuse was terrible. So she's arguing with me over text, and eventually she tells me where the spare key is. She had one hidden in the little electric box in our garage, which I looked around, but I would have never thought of that. I would have never thought oh, let's just fucking open the electric box. I mean, maybe I should have thought of that. Maybe sober me would have thought of that, but I was fucked up. So I went and grabbed it. At this point, it was maybe an hour before my mom was supposed to get home. Run upstairs, clean up as quick as I can, plug my phone in. At this point, my phone was on literally 2%. I remember that heart racing feeling of my phone was at 2-3%, and she still hadn't texted me where the spare key was, and I was just tweaking out because the girls had their shit in the house too. Their phones and purses were in there, So, they're not purses, but those little satchels, those little hand things. They're not wallets, but those little hand things that girls have their makeup in. I don't know what they're called. Either way, so I run back upstairs, plug my phone in, immediately call up Michelle. I'm like, yo, can you pick up Megan and come back? I got in my house. I can give you your shit. And they left a little bud there. So they're like, yeah, we'll come through right now. We're on the way. So turns out they were out together the whole time. They were just grabbing food or whatever. So they came pretty quick, maybe 30 minutes later, which isn't that quick. But for where they were, it was kind of quick because they were a little bit far. So gave them all their shit. Still had to clean up the house. Still had to do all that. I was like, all right, here's your shit. Here's your bud. Good looks, peace out, deuces, So they left. I clean up my house as quick as I fucking can. It reeked of bud because I just let this weed just sit out the whole time. And there was a good portion of it. There was the girls' weed, and then there was my bud that I also left out. And I left my whole bag just fucking unzipped, wide open on the table. So it was just fucked. I had to clean up as quick as I could, managed to do it. And eventually, my mom got home. Now, at this point, I'm still pretty fucked up. I don't want to say fucked up. I was in control of it, but I was very, out of it. I was very, woozy, foggy. Just all the words to describe someone who is just not quite there. That was me. I was feeling that whole, lightheaded feeling, that whole, I don't weigh very much kind of thing you get when you do DXM. It's kind of it was weird. I was coming down a little bit, the peak of it definitely hit me while I was sitting in that garage. So mom gets home. She asks me a bunch of questions. She knows I'm high. She gives me that suspicious look every time she thinks I'm fucked up, and it gets me every time. She fucking knew immediately, and I knew that she knew. So, of course, I denied it. I didn't say anything. I was like, no, I didn't smoke. I'm not high. And she kept asking me. Eventually, she just gave up, took the dog out, went to bed. I went and laid in my bed, just watched YouTube videos on my phone, played some games on my computer, just chilled out in my room, and I was still a little bit fucked up. I ended up falling asleep before I completely came down, woke up the next morning, feeling like shit. I don't know if any of you guys can relate to this, but for me at least, if I do triple C's at night, or not triple C's, but DXM in general, especially triple C's though, at night, and then I wake up, the next day, if I fall asleep while I'm still a little bit fucked up, I'll wake up feeling like shit. I don't know. It's like a DXM hangover. It's garbage. So woke up the next morning, felt like shit, went to school, and yeah, that's my story of getting high on Mucinex. Hope you guys enjoyed. Drop a like if you did. I will see you guys next time. Peace.